Hello, I know what you're thinking. This is a much sexier voice than usual. Where is the normal woman? Well, I'll tell you where she is. She's at home, with monkeypox. I hope she gets better soon, but at the same time I really don't, because this is a pretty sweet gig and I'd like to stay. I would also never fuck a monkey. On to this week's episode. We've done it. We've reached the end of the season. Tonight we prepared for the last game of the season between Mansfield Town and Port Vale. Who will win? We don't care really, because none of us support either team. However, our guests do. There's been some changes in the league since the last episode. Phil Brown got the shit put up him and ran away from League 2 because he's scared of us. Ape allowed fan vote the minute silence at Bradford and was eaten out by his own fans. Harry McKibbody has a weird fetish where he thinks skying a penalty is funny. He then had a midlife crisis where he cut his hair to look like a cross between the shit Ellen DeGeneres and Sean from Coronation Street. Still let him play for our teams though. It's the lower league look. It's the lower league look. It's the lower league look. It's the lower league look.
You know what's coming, don't you?
I do know what's coming. You guys don't, but...
that really hurt, that clap did. Guys, welcome to... Is this episode 16? It will be episode 16 now, I believe. This is playoff special. This is the lower league look. This is the first time we've had 5... Chris is gone. It's the first time we've had 5 people. Guys, welcome. I'm going to say hello. We have got Steve with us from the Ale and Vale podcast tonight. Steve, hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Not bad, not bad. We'll get on to Port Vale in a second. We've also got Cam from the MTFC Matters podcast as well joining us. Cam, how are you?
Not bad, thank you.
Good stuff. So let's jump straight in. We're going to go straight on to Port Vale. We said this because we did a Mansfield special earlier in the season. So
I love how we don't get asked how we are. Do you, Chris?
Yeah, I know. Do you know what?
Like, how are you guys? We're great.
Zero cares.
Grant and Chris. You don't fucking matter at all.
Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why? Because you'll tell us anyway. Without me asking, you'll both tell us. So, Steve.
This better be good, by the way. I'll tell you how, this better be good. I'm on holiday.
Oh, he is. Grant's on holiday. Grant, tell us where you are so we can DDoS you.
So I'm in the Isle of Harris this week. So I'm out literally in the arse end of nowhere. It's lovely though. Not today. It's absolutely pissing it down with rain today. But went to see some stones.
Great chat.
My mum has gone to. She's going to Shetland tomorrow. She's on holiday up there as well.
Nice.
I don't know where how close that is. I don't know Scottish geography very well, but it's an island. It's up there. I think you can drive over a bridge now.
Long way away.
I'm pretty sure the Shetlands are as far up as you can get, aren't they?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Be nice though.
It will be. So Steve, we're going to come to you first. You've had a strange season because we never really touched on you guys. You were kind of like a dark horse, a bit like Bristol. What? Touched on? Oh, I say that a lot, guys, apparently. You were kind of like Bristol for us, where you crept under the radar and you've just beaten Swindon in the playoffs, which I don't think any of us saw coming. So, yeah, what do you think of your season? Sum your season up for us. Highs, lows?
It's been a season of big highs, big lows, lots of stuff's gone on off the pitch and on the pitch. We had automatic promotion within our hands, which we blew. Basically, we run out of steam. You've got to be careful about talking with injuries because all clubs have injuries, but we were crippled by injuries. And during the COVID spell, I don't think it's unreasonable to say we had quite a few games called off for COVID when one of the cleaners had sneezed twice or something. We played for virtually 3 months without centre forward. We hung on in there. We dropped out of the playoffs. Then a lot of you all know that Darryl Clark, he had a family bereavement and he left. Andy Crosby took over. He changed the system and we were dire for 4 games. Then all of a sudden we couldn't lose. We were winning game after game after game. We went up to Hartlepool. We won 1-0. Clark came on the pitch. There's a lot of celebrating going on. There was a view that we'd overdone the celebrating. On the outside looking in, if I supported another club, I'd have thought, fucking hell, they're not think they promoted. But Clark had come back to the club after everything gone on. It was more of a celebration of him returning. But if I'm honest, it didn't have the best of looks about it, you know.
Do you know what, though? You see, from a Hartlepool fan's perspective, we loved it because he's an absolute hero at Hartlepool as well.
Yeah.
So I think he knew that game was probably the perfect game in place if he was doing it away to do it. There was going to be no hard feeling from Pools fans. Pools fans would be there and absolutely rally behind him as well. We love him at Hartlepool.
Yeah, your manager was really kind. And of the following game,
Good mates.
yeah, your manager's been sacked now. Hasn't he gone, the manager now?
Yeah, Graham Lee's away now.
Yeah, but 2 games later, we're playing Walsall, and the last place that Darryl would have wanted to come back was against them lot. Walsall hate Darryl Clark and they hate Vale for some reason. They've got like when they beat us, they invaded the pitch. They were 14th in the league, and it was like the best thing they'd ever done. But that's by the by. But after the Hartlepool game, we tanked. I personally didn't think we'd get in the playoffs. We were falling like a stone. We couldn't buy a win. Injuries were biting again. We had to go down to Exeter and get a result. If we hadn't beaten Exeter, we wouldn't have been in the playoffs. It was a great day out. We won 1-0, real smash and grab. And of course, then we ended up at Swindon, who, by their own admission, have got better players than us, got a lot more fans than us, as they like to remind you every 5 minutes. And we got away with it down there, just losing 2-1. And I came back from there, piss wet through in their open end stand, hating them. And I didn't fancy chances. We've got a big pitch. I thought Johnny Williams and McCurdy, who used to play for us, as well as being a lovely chap, I thought they'd be too good for us. But anybody who saw the game, we battered him, and we, you know, and
he
we all
looked
went
shocked.
now.
He looked shell shocked, did McCurdy. He just, I feel like he thought he'd done his part in the first leg, and he didn't need to do anything in the second leg, and he just. Yeah, he looked a shadow of himself. Speaking of things that you did on the road this season, we've covered this quite a lot. I'm going to let Chris touch on. You beat us 2-1 at our place. They beat Bradford.
We played well then, didn't we?
You did play
well, Chris, why did we lose, Chris? Who was the referee?
No, we're not getting into this. I'm gonna completely change the subject here. I'm gonna ask you, Steve. Obviously, when Tom Conlon got injured, you must have feared for your season. I mean, personally, for me, I think that he is potentially the best midfielder in this league. I think he's phenomenal. So, what was the thoughts? You know, because obviously he was ruled out for the season. How you know, did you feel that your playoff opportunities had gone from that?
Not as particularly Conlon, because he got injured at the same time as James Wilson and Jamie Proctor. Undoubtedly, Conlon is right up there because he scored a great goal against. He scored a free kick against Mansfield, didn't he? Did he? I can't remember. I'm sure he did. Yeah. He's really good dead ball. He can pick a pass. He's the most creative midfielder we've got, and without him, we become more workmanlike and ordinary. He's our captain, or our best player. He could have left us in the summer to move on. I think probably COVID and stuff stopped that happening. But yeah, Conlon's a great player, and it's easy to say if Conlon had been fit, we'd have gone up, because every team can say that, can't we? If such and such had been fit, or such and such had been sold. But we miss Conlon. He's the captain of the club, and he's right up there. But yeah, I agree. We missed him terribly.
Yeah, he seems. I mean, obviously, him signing that new contract in the summer, I think that was probably a shock to anybody. Was it a 2 or 3 year contract that he signed?
It's a 2-year deal, but I think there's a gentleman's agreement. It's one of those where you sign a contract for us. If we get an offer of X amount, we'll let you go. It's a bit of insurance policy, for us, you know, and a bit of security for him. We're now. For years and years and years, Vale will run appallingly. We've had history of terrible ownership from the last one. Norman kept threatening to close us down for really odd reasons. We've been bust a couple of times, but now we've got really engaged ownership and we're really professionally run. And you couldn't say that about the Vale very often. So we're going in the right direction. We really are. What happens on Saturday is not immaterial, of course, but we're still on the upward curve because we've been a bad side for 4 or 5 years, and now we're not. which is a big
I
thing.
think you saying that leads on perfectly to the announcement today that's come through. I know Liam was probably going to say this right there, and he's going, "Oh shit, you've came in with this." Port Vale's announcement today that Darryl Clark now has been given a new 5-year contract.
Yeah, that was
Now, in this league, that is insane.
Yeah,
But
if
I think it's a great call from them.
It is a great call, but if you're cynical, which I am, I would imagine that a contract like that has a few clauses in there that if we do sack you, you're only getting X amount of months compensation on your contract. They would be mental to give anybody a fight, but Darryl's really popular. The chairwoman's bought into him, so it's a great statement. But I obviously don't know, but I think it's probably a bit misleading to say, if we get rid of you tomorrow, we're giving you 5 years' money, because obviously that can't happen. There'll be clauses in there, but I 100% agree. He's bought into the club, and we bought into him.
Yeah, a great statement to make before the final as well.
It's clever.
Ballsy.
Yeah.
But at this level, you find, and we found it with Derek Adams this season, that the clause in the contract is that if you are sacked, you are paid until you get your next job.
Yeah.
So we found that he went straight into Morecambe, and that's why we.
Yeah.
You know why we've done? Do you know why we've done that? By the way,
because we've been through 8 managers in 4 years.
We also had Gary Bowyer, who even when he was at Salford and he'd been sacked, I think it was 18 months beforehand, we were still paying him a wage. And I kind of get it. I do, because if you sack a manager but you've given them a certain year's contract, then I understand that. However, when they've gone into a new job and they're still getting paid money from the previous club, I think that's wrong. And I think it shows you initiative. But talk about Darryl Clark. I think for me, it shows a lot of initiative. I think there was a lot of fans who, when he came from Walsall last year, there you go, lads.
Chris can't say Walsall. I say, what do I say?
Walsall.
No, what do I say? I say something and Chris says Walsall.
Yeah, so I get abused. Anyway, but when he came over, when he came over, when he came over to you guys, I think there was a lot of people that were quite confused, because obviously you were lower than them in the league. He seemed to think that you were a sleeping giant. I think, I'll be honest with you, Steve, I think a lot of people laughed at it. I think that this season he's shown, obviously, bar obviously the his family bereavements, what a good coach he is, and exactly why he made that decision.
He would say that at Walsall don't forget, he went back-to-back promotions with Bristol Rovers. They had no money. He went to Walsall. The chairman pulled the rug from under him, basically. He was selling all his best He was selling all his best players, having to replace them for no money whatsoever. And the writing was on the wall. No matter what he did, he was on hide as nothing. Are Vale a sleeping giant? We're not as big as Bradford, obviously, but I go to a lot of games. We're a big club for League Two. In that you can't. We're not a sleeping giant, but with the ownership we've got and the fact that we're investing behind the scenes, we have a director of football. In the old days, Vale had a manager, assistant manager, and a kit man, and that was it. Now we have sports scientists. He's getting a statue. Now we have sports scientists. We're a professional club, and I can see why he did it. Why he would move from them to us. And we paid money for him as well. And you talk about statements. Who in League Two can afford or chooses to spend money on a manager? It's usually the old manager, the old merry-go-round, and it's someone who's just lost a job. So we showed him the ambition, and he showed us. Yeah, well, he did he's a very good job at Stoke. Mark Hughes did. I was a big fan of his towards the end.
Yeah, I'm sure you were. Well, look, that's led us up to the end of the playoff, the game. Yeah, you beat Swindon. We didn't think you beat Swindon, but fair play. Not the nicest of scenes at full time. You said before we started recording, you said you didn't really cover yourselves in much glory there, and we've said it. We've said it a few times that pitch invasions, someone's going to get seriously hurt. Someone's going to get really badly hurt with how things are going, and it seems to have got worse and worse and worse. This last 2 weeks has been insane. What were your views from Port
My-
Vale,
my-
did you see?
My view is this: I went on the pitch, but I went on the pitch to celebrate. I mean, I'd go to the games with my brother, my mates, my young son. I went on the pitch to celebrate Vale going up. I cannot understand, not going up, Christ, dropping the gun, getting to the playoff final. I cannot understand. I've fucked it now. I can't, for the life of me, understand why anybody would want to go and hurt a fellow human being when it should be a scene of joy. You know, you should be celebrating with your family, your friends, drinking it in. There's no excuse. It's a minority of people. It's at all clubs. I think it's more of a society thing than a football thing. You know, there's more to it than football. But the people who did that, who assaulted the players, I don't want them supporting Port Vale, and I don't want them going to attend matches there. I'm not going to sit here and defend McCurdy. You can dress how you want. He's a grade 1 tosser, but he does not deserve that type of physical abuse. Nobody does on and off the football pitch. And, you know, those people, they deserve everything they get, whether it's the Vale fans, the Everton fans,
the Forest fans.
Yeah, the bloke who made Billy Shaw, that's just cowardly, you know. And I think it's a problem at Port Vale. We have a minority. We always have had. I'm not going to pretend we don't.
Everybody does.
Yeah, it's everywhere. And I don't know what they'll do to stamp it out. People talk about stewarding, but if you've got 10,000 people trying to run on a football pitch, no steward on 10 quid an hour is even going to attempt to. Why would they?
There needs to now be, the only way they're going to stop it is by going to the absolute extreme and saying if there is a pitch invasion, points deduction, or your next 3 games are behind closed doors.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
No
one will run on the pitch.
Outspoken about pitch invasions on Twitter recently. I'm big up against them. Do you know what? I get it, and going on for a celebration, I get it. But there's too many people now looking to make a moment on it. You see people going
mobile
on
phones.
with the intention, mobile phones. They're running on with their phone. They're looking through their phone to see it. There's going to be a massive accident before long. It's going to be like another Hillsborough. There's going to be something that's going to happen at a pitch invasion, and it's going to stop them completely happening. And sadly, it's going to have to take something like that to happen, I think.
Yeah, I think you can stop that happening by, they've got to draw a line under it this season, because you can't go taking points off us or anything like that. At the start, with the start next season, they say you get fans on the pitch more than whatever it might be, because you can't do clubs if a lone idiot runs on there, you know, like a streaker. But points off, behind closed doors, massive fines, especially lower league level, money's tight. And even the thickest of individuals, if they can't go watch their football club for three games, they'd notice that. The problem with it so far is you've got to hit the people who it affects. And that's like stopping the likes of me and you go to watch games. But I've got what happened at Vale was just not on. And
for the single person,
Hartlepool have just banned someone for 3 years. Hartlepool have just banned someone for 3 years for invading the pitch. This was ruled out at court. And it's also happening at Oldham as well. They're trying to get everyone.
He spoke and his mouth didn't move. I was absolutely
me.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's got to be even for down to the single person. The clubs work with the police. If you encroach on a pitch, you're going and spending a night, 2 nights, 3 nights, a week, 2 weeks, whatever it may be. You're gonna go spend that behind bars, and it's extreme, but that's the only way you're going to stamp it out, unless something like what Grant says happens. Someone's going to be killed eventually. That is the extreme. Someone's going to be killed.
I mean, I mean, I'm not covering myself in glory, but I was on the pitch at Exeter as well, and that was a completely different atmosphere. You know, that was a different game. There's a lot. You know, we were all standing on the pitch having a right good chat with the Exeter fans. Obviously, they got up. We got into the playoffs, so it was always going to be a very convivial atmosphere, because both people had got what they wanted, and that was different. But you know, they're gonna have to stop even peace-loving people like me going on the pitch to walk around, and you know, I don't know. I think it's like I said to you, it's a bigger problem than football. I mean, you go to the horse racing and stuff like that, it happens there. The people kicking off are banged up on bugle and stuff like that. They're not horse racing fans. They're just there for a reason. And a lot of the people who are at that game or the other ones, they're just looking for it. And there's no place for them at Vale or any other club.
And I think
You
said about a certain type of people, and I think that McCurdy, he's said it to every club he's played this season. He's wound every club's fans up that he's played this season. But there are a certain group of people that feel so passionate about their town or their city that they take real offence to it when it's not really,
He's a pantomime villain. That's all it is.
Of course it is.
It's nothing more. It's nothing more than that.
It is. Right. So Mansfield. Let's move on to Mansfield. Let's get Cam in on this. Cam, we had a chat with a lad called Adrian earlier this season. Now, Adrian, as far as we're concerned, is already looking at away trips to League One stadiums next year. He has been since January. So, what do you think? Sum your season up. How's it gone? Where do you think your highs and lows have been? And lead us up to the end of your playoffs. But let's not talk about Saturday just yet.
I mean, started off quite well. Unbeaten in the first 3, 1-2, drawn 1, and then we didn't go and win a game in 14. It's unreal. You can't write it. I think as much as Port Vale complain about they've lost players through injury, we've lost players through injury and suspension, and we dropped to second joint bottom in the league with Scunthorpe. The only thing keeping us off bottom was goal difference. Wow. That's how far we've been this season. So it's been an unreal. And then we go and then don't lose in 14 or 15. We win 15 out of the next 19, including 2 FA Cup games, 1 away at Sunderland, 1 away at Doncaster. It's just been a crazy season. And we strengthen the side. We bring Lucas Akins in, Jamie Murphy, and then Matty Longstaff as well. It's just crazy.
We still can't work out how. Matty Longstaff.
The story goes basically that David Sharp, our CEO, he got engaged around just like not long after Christmas. I think it was.
Sorry, was David Sharp the former Wigan CEO? Was he?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, he's now our CEO. So the rumor, this is the story that he's told the fans, that he got engaged in Barbados or somewhere like that, not long after Christmas, and just so happened that Matty's agent was also getting engaged on the same island in the same hotel at the same time. So take of that what you like, but it's the best. It's the only story that we've got so far.
Did they do like peas in a fishbowl or something?
Yeah, what's going on there?
No idea, but that's the story that would be told. And then it's just been a crazy season since then. We went on obviously we've been on this fantastic run, and then we stuttered a bit in March. I think we struggled quite a bit, just picking up little knocks and niggles. Reece Oates had a bit of a niggle. Stephen Quinn's been carrying a back injury for a while. We got James Perch back, which was good, and I think that's what changed it all towards the end of the season. I think what got us out of the rut originally was bringing John Joe O'Toole in to get us out of this mini rut in March, losing to Tranmere, losing to Vale, drawing at Hartlepool. I think the big turning point was getting James Perch back, so we all thought that he was going to retire. He
was out for the season, wasn't he? He was ruled out for the season.
He fractured his skull, and how many players fracture their skull and then back playing within the same season? Yeah. It's been crazy. And then we had a decent run towards the end of the season, stuttered around Easter, and then finished it off quite nicely with a draw against Forest, a win against Crawley, a win against Stevenage. So brilliant, beat Evans because everyone hates Steve Evans.
Yes, they do. Yes,
and then
amen.
I remember a story about Steve Evans. Was where before Mark Hughes came in at Bradford. Apparently, Evans was in for the job and he'd been there and.
No, the story was it was reported that he had the job because he was seen at Oldham. We played Oldham away. Now, through different ways, I won't go into it, but like me and Chris have contacts that we speak to, and we had this conversation. Steve Evans bought himself a ticket
Yeah.
The club didn't know he was going. It wasn't arranged.
Yeah.
He just bought himself a ticket and turned up.
He was
That's
never
right, I think
going
that's
to
right
be.
up his street, that is.
He was never going to be the Bradford City manager. So I went to a wedding at Crawley. So the reception was at Crawley. Now I've got to be very careful what I say here. Let's just say even Crawley, after what he did for them, I won't mention their names, but they are very prominent at the club behind the scenes. They hate him. And anyway, I'm going to leave it at that.
And he's also banned from our stadium, or he was banned from our stadium because he whacked his dick out in front of a female member of staff. No, he did, because he got found guilty. Found guilty and he didn't appeal it. That to me says he's guilty. You know, if he's gone to court and he's been found guilty and fined for it, he's guilty. He whacked his dick out in front of a female member of staff and he got done for it. Like he got
gets you sacked at National League.
He got in a 3-year contract at Crawley.
Cam, I want to ask you. So obviously, when you were near the bottom of the league, what were your thoughts on Nigel Clough at the time? Did you want to get rid of him, or was it that obviously, because you did have a major issue with COVID with your players, and that is the reason why a lot of players and you had a lot of injuries. Were you guys kind of thinking, do you know what, this guy hasn't got a clue, or was it a case of we understand why we are where we are?
To be honest, to throw an absolute spanner into the works, it wasn't even COVID for us back then. It was just genuinely people getting injured. Reece Oates was injured. Ollie Hawkins had gone out injured as well. He came back in. Farron Rawson was injured. That's when James Perch also got injured. Callum Gordon got injured. He's still injured. We were playing Ollie Hawkins as a centre-back, and we still are. But COVID didn't really affect us until around Christmas time, and then it came at a really bad time for us because we were back winning by then. But the original bad run of form, I think it culminated as the home game against Harrogate. We lost Ollie Clark for a red card. It was a last man. He got sent off for it. He was never the last man. It wasn't even a foul. So I think that riled them up a little bit. And then Stephen Quinn decided he was going to sort of like run his foot down the back of a Harrogate player's leg. He got sent off for it. And apparently, from the referee's report, the only person that saw it was the fourth official. And then for that, so he'd got his 3-game ban for violent conduct. But then when it went to appeal, he was given a further 3-game ban for that as well. But it's because it was caught on video, not by the officials. So maybe a little bit of injustice there because not really the officials saw it happen. But
so did he get sent off in the game?
Yeah, he got sent off in the game. I can't remember what he got sent off for, but it wasn't the running the foot down the back of the player's leg. It was something else. I can't remember what it was.
That'll be why they're not allowed to act. So if it's in a referee's report, the FA or the EFL can't do anything further.
No.
So but if he got sent off for something else and the EFL have got the footage of the thing,
that's what it was.
That's insane.
I think he got sent off for violent conduct. I think he pushed someone or did something along those sort of lines. So he got 3 games and then he got a further 3. I know it was definitely 3 and 3, but I can't remember what the first one was for. But it really messed up our season because it meant that we'd got a load of defenders out injured. We'd then lost 2 midfielders. And then we also, we were very short on strikers because Danny Johnson wasn't doing it. Reece Oates was a bit hit and miss because he was a little bit injured and then he'd come back and he'd not really do it. But so we just struggled all around.
Obviously,
So Cam, was there much resentment towards Nigel Clough, or was it a case of you've just had these unfortunate events, or did you just believe in what he was doing?
I mean, unfortunately, it's both because there was a lot that wanted him to stay because we knew the reasons why we were in the situation that we were. We've had more injuries than most, and we've just had a horrid season. And then there was those that maybe got on his back a little bit too much. I think we played Northampton away. We lost 2-0 and we were dog shite. We were terrible. But there were fans chanting, Nigel Clough, your football is shit. And it kind of snowballed from there. And there were a few that did want him gone. And then everyone thinks the sun shines out of his arse at the minute. So you can't win in football as a football manager. You're the hero one week, you're the villain the next, but then you're the hero the following week. So majority of fans wanted him to stay. A lot wanted him to go, but I think the general feel around the club was that most that thought that he's here to stay. He's not just going to go because we've had a bad start to the season. Because we knew we'd turn it round once we got the players back, but it was just we lost a lot of players all at once.
From the outside looking in, we played you when you were right near the bottom of the league at your place, and you battered us. You absolutely battered us. And we're thinking, fucking hell, if they're bottom of the league, what's going on here? We were right near the top, you were near the bottom, and we were very, very lucky to get away with the draw there. There's no doubt. And that was like a bit of a turning point for you, wasn't it? It's like a bit of a line in the sand because you were trying to get players back, weren't you? I remember it, and fuck me, they're a half decent side. Better than a half decent side.
Yeah, I remember this game. Yeah, it was back in. It had been October.
November, wasn't it?
Finished 1-1.
Yeah,
this definitely isn't coming up in the quiz in a bit.
it was...
Yes, we've got a point.
Did Covalanti at the 90 minutes in that one?
So Vale scored. Yeah, Tom Conlon scored a decent free kick.
On the 33rd minute,
we missed a penalty in that game as well, and then we battered you for the rest of the game, and we got a goal in the second half.
Don't say who scored. Don't say who scored.
I know who scored. But I was actually listening to the post-match. Obviously, Darryl Clark, he came through our academy and everything, and actually. There's two of his shirts. Well, not his shirts, but both of these shirts on the 99-00 season. So these are two shirts that Darryl would have worn.
Oh,
so I broke these out because, firstly, that, but secondly, they were the season I was born. So they're just sentimental to me. But I was listening to Darryl's post-match after that game, and he said Mansfield don't, for the team that they've got, the players that they've got, the manager that they've got, they don't deserve to be there where they are, and they'll be up there come the end of the season. So hopefully we get to make him eat his words because, a lot of respect for Darryl.
He was right.
I think there's an applause set at Wembley in the 8th minute for Darryl Clark, isn't there? Everyone, both Port Vale and Mansfield, have agreed this. Obviously, he's both sold just over 15,000 tickets each. So I think it's going to be a really special moment.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, Darryl's a Mansfield lad. He had a very rough upbringing. I think his mum died in a car crash, and then his dad were an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. It's you can't write it. He's had such, and then I can't remember which estate he was brought up on, but it was pretty rough. So he's had a rough upbringing. So he's done really bloody well to get where he is. And obviously, we've got a lot of respect to him here at Mansfield. He played 150 odd games for us, and so. You can't really complain.
He's gone.
If I just jump in here with Darryl Clark, there's an interview.
Did you ever see him as being a manager?
You're breaking up, Grant. You're breaking
up. Grant, I'll ask for it. Did you ever see him as being a manager?
Edit out.
Yes. No, we don't edit on this anymore. We used to. There's no point.
To be honest, I'm probably the worst person to ask because most of his games I wasn't I couldn't remember. I was only a baby back when he played for us. But from what other people told me, it's like he was the sort of player that you wanted. He had the passion. His mindset was right for football. So I think as long as your mindset's what you need to be a manager, then anyone can. Like, regardless whether you're a good manager or not, I think anyone that's been in the game long enough, like Darryl has and had the experience, maybe not at the higher levels, but especially around League One, League Two, and then into non-league. I think he was with Salisbury. So he's been round and he's got the experience. So there's absolutely no reason why he couldn't have done it. To be
we've lost
honest,
Grant, guys.
Yeah,
he's messed your graphic up now.
He's messed me graphic up.
Going back to his upbringing, there was an interview with him in the Times. His upbringing, like you say, was horrendous. His mum died in a car crash. His old man was an alcoholic, and he blew his mum's insurance money. And Darryl was brought up by his gran and granddad. And this is out there. It was an interview which he did. And his old man tried to, like, on his deathbed, tried to sort of, like, make, trying to put things right. And Darryl and his brother wouldn't have none of it. And he's talked about that quite openly. And he says that's what drives him. He's managed an awful lot of games for someone who's still relatively quite young. And he's nearly at 500 league games, and he's only 43, 44. So, like you say, he's got a lot of experience. And
it's a weird one because it's always whenever Mansfield lose a manager, it's always that question like, "Oh, are we going to go for
Darryl Clark?"
Yeah, we're going for Darryl Clark. So it's just he's been around for a while and he's got that respect at lower league that he could probably walk into pretty much any job definitely at League Two because I think he just knows the league and how to do it.
Yeah. I think the thing going into this weekend, so we're going to just move into this weekend, is that two teams here that I don't think, Chris, you'll back me up on this, I don't think either of us expected to be in the playoff final. When you talk about that run that you guys went on at Mansfield, you were mathematically possible, like to win the league, and we all said that's what was going to happen. We were down Mansfield, we're going to win the league. We thought that, to be fair, we didn't really know who was going to make the playoffs. We thought that Swindon were going to win the playoffs. Exeter were up there.
Even Swindon until the last few weeks, they'd slipped out of the playoff positions. So I think, I think it's, I think this league has been the best league there is in all the English leagues. It's interesting, because like they were talking about the Premiership. I was listening to the Premiership game. I was in Lincoln, so I was seeing my nephew for his 21st birthday, and I was driving back and they're going, "This is the best league in the world," blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, do you know what? Bullshit. I think this year's League Two has been the best season because you look at like Northampton. Northampton had always been up there. It looked like experience, but he's back. Northampton, for instance, they were always in the position where they looked like they were going to stay in that position until the last day.
Yeah.
Even on the last day, we didn't know who the playoff teams were going to be, and I think it's quite exciting. I think the best thing is, I think almost anyone in this, I say almost, because there's certain teams. Here we go, Grant. Scunthorpe wouldn't have beaten anyone.
yeah.
Oldham probably wouldn't have done either, but I think almost every team could have beaten the other.
I think that both Vale and Mansfield got lucky with Bristol. Well, obviously, if the one team I wanted to go up if we couldn't was Bristol Rovers because they were the best side who came down to Vale. They played us off the park about 3 weeks before the end of the season, and if they'd been in the playoffs, I would not expect either of us two to have been in the final if we played them. They were a very good side. And them going up, however it happened, which I'm not particularly keen on myself, that's another story.
Can we just say it was called the 7-0. Grant called Bristol winning the last game of the season 7-0.
I said it was going to happen.
Yeah, I put a 5 on Bristol winning 6-0.
Oh, he said 7-0. He said 7-0 because we were talking about how it could happen.
Yeah, 28 to 12. When I saw the Scunthorpe team, I thought this is a bit moody. This, and I put a 5 on. It's 6-0, and how it happened. But Bristol were the best side, apart from Forest Green and Exeter. So them getting out of it made the playoffs very, very even. And
was anyone really scared of Northampton in the playoffs?
No.
I said to you guys, and I think you both disagreed with me. I said that Northampton will struggle in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they were bang average when they played us. They were bang average.
Yeah, do you know what? They've been up there. They're a very tall team, and they are.
All set pieces.
But I just think, obviously, when they blew it, it always happens in the playoffs, doesn't it? There's always that team that are literally on the verge of automatic promotion.
Yeah.
And they fuck it up, and they will always lose in the semis. Always.
That was us a few years ago.
Yeah. How often does that happen? It's always about the informed teams. And that's why I think Northampton, they're just a very boring team for me. I'm not surprised that,
we said we called that. And to be fair, with the Northampton thing, we went up in the playoffs in 2013. We beat Northampton in the final, and I said they've always been that team that when they get to the playoffs, they are serial bottlers. It seems.
Thing is, they're going to be there or thereabouts next season again because they'll just do the same thing. They'll be hard to beat. They'll be big lumps. They'll be good in their set plays. They'll keep a big, tall team. That's the way they've always played. Fucking
they'll slow the game down to nothing, and it will become boring. And that's we said it. We said it the other week, and we have a Discord, and we've got a Northampton fan in there, and he listened to it, and I said Northampton is the most boring place I have ever been to, and he commented, and he was like, "Yeah, it's like imagine how we feel." Like,
they came to our place. They came to our place and stomped the place out. They were shit housing after 2 minutes. If you could, they were right near the top of the league. They showed. I'm not saying we were any better that night. They showed no ambition whatsoever. All they wanted to do was try and nick it on the set piece. I was glad Mansfield beat them. They're not my favourite team in that league. Just nothing to do with Northampton. Don't think I've ever been there. But just the way they play and the way they set up, and it just isn't for me, basically.
No. It's dull.
Yeah, it is dull. But I think when we lost to them at their place in the league, we were pretty dire. They weren't anything special, but we were pretty dire. And then the other 3 times that we've played them this season, we've beat them every single occasion. We beat them at Field Mill just before the end of the season, and then we beat them on both legs. 1-2-1, 1-0. So there's nothing to be feared. It's just that you've got to be defensively strong, and that's the problem with League Two. You're either really good in attack or you're really good in defence. You look at some teams; they ship goals for fun, but they also score goals. I think Oldham, they're a perfect example. Score an absolute shit ton of goals, but they also concede a shit ton at the other end.
Oldham are a bad example for anything at the minute.
But yeah, I mean, just going back to how competitive the league was, we were looking over our shoulder, or literally until the final whistle, because anyone from 9th to 3rd could have gone up automatically, mathematically. But to be honest, on that final day, we were hoping that we'd have got Swindon in the playoffs or Swindon in the playoff final, because we know that we can beat Swindon. We beat them comfortably back in January.
So was that it for you? You guys wanted Swindon in the final?
Personally, me, yeah, I did. When we lost to them early on in the season, it was a little bit of injustice. There was a free kick that went a yard over the line and was missed by the officials. So we'll leave it at that. And then when we played them, it was the Tuesday after they played Man City on the Friday. So maybe they had got a bit of a hangover, but they were poor. They were very, very poor.
I think all you need to do is take one person, snap that little cunt's legs, and then that's it. You've got the game.
Leave it in.
But this is the thing. When we played them, so I think our first 2 home games after we brought Mark Hughes in, because up until we brought Mark Hughes in, we had a dreadful season. We really did. It wasn't good. Our first game was Mansfield. Grant, you came down for that, didn't you?
I did. Good game.
You did. Came down for it. You guys, you spanked us. Fair enough. We expected it. Our next game was Swindon at home, and they won to was it a 96th minute penalty, Chris? Jack Payne?
Yeah, it was. And
they didn't deserve it.
I mean, something I haven't mentioned yet. The best team that have come to Valley Parade this season have been Mansfield. There's no question about that for me. Absolutely no question. Which is why on this podcast I've said that I thought Mansfield were potentially going to win the league. And it's also why I'm really sorry, Steve. I think Mansfield are going to win on Saturday.
But it doesn't matter because you're Chris in the quiz. that we've got coming up. But what I'm going to do, Chris, I'm going to apologise if this is in your quiz, because you should have known that we were going to talk about Mansfield and Port Vale's head-to-head. So this season, head-to-head, you guys, you've obviously played twice, 1-1 back in October, and then February, 3-1 to Port Vale. It's... That
3-1 game, and I'm going to be honest here, it was very, very tight. We went 2-1 up, and Mansfield at the bar, and we pretty much went up the other end and scored. We will set up differently than we did. Nigel Clough, he isn't my cup of tea, to be honest. He's got a bit of a vendetta against Vale. A couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, he was going through a run of refereeing decisions that we'd had go in our favour, and then comparing us to Mansfield. Christ knows why I thought that was appropriate. But he was highlighting, and we did have a couple that went our way, but he missed out a couple of blatant sending offs that should have gone the other way. But he just seemed to use us as an example of why Mansfield won a bit of a bad run. He smacks us sour grapes, Nigel Clough does, and he isn't for me. But that game we got away with one there, I think. To win 3-1,
yeah,
did
I was there. I was in the away end, and obviously we took the lead. It was a good goal, to be fair. He's picked the pocket of the defender and then made Aidan Stone look like an absolute mug.
Oh yeah, Aidan Stone, my lord. Yeah, forgot about that.
And then your first goal was just poor goalkeeping from us. It was just straight at him, and it went straight through him pretty much. It was a poor goal to concede. But then that set the mood for the rest of the night, because it just meant that we were on the back foot constantly, and it was just a poor night in general. I think it was terrible football for both sides. I just think, but that's the thing, when you've got two like decent sides going up together, the football's never good. It's always a really shit game because the teams match each other on nearly everything.
Yeah, they do.
You're too safe because you don't want to risk it.
Yeah, there was a bit of that, and I think it will be tight on Saturday. A mistake or a bit of magic, but I think we are two very evenly matched teams. I've been impressed with Mansfield twice. I'm not going to sit here and say they weren't. They're one of the best three teams I've seen at Vale, and we got away with one there. And the 3-1 game, could easily have gone the other way. It's just like sliding doors moments, hitting the crossbar. The pile driver Wilson scored that no keeper would have saved if they had got Popdom hands. Would have gone through.
You're not delighted you got Aidan Stone in, by the way. I've meant to mention this earlier on.
Yeah, this is really
got him in compared to that
really,
absolute
this is really
fucking
odd.
Bomb scare.
Who's that, Lucas or the other one?
Oh, Lucas Covalan. He is a fucking nightmare.
Did he get sent off for kicking McCurdy earlier this season?
What happened was, Lucas got sent off on the first game of the season against Northampton. He came back in, and I rate Lucas. He was a good keeper. He was good off his line. He commanded the area. Then, when we played Swindon, we decided that we were going to stick one up McCurdy. So what Covalan did was try and karate kick him like Danielson. And to be fair to McCurdy, and I hate to say this, McCurdy did nothing wrong. Lucas just karate kicks him. And when you see something in a football match, you think that just has happened. Then after that, Lucas became bomb squad. Then he was disappeared. We bought Aidan Stone in. They didn't fancy him, so then we signed Holy from Ipswich. Now Holy has got one attribute: he's about 9 foot tall. He can't catch, he can't kick, he can't make a save, and he was dreadful, absolutely dreadful. So then we were sort of forced to bring Stone back in, and Stone's gone from being a backup keeper to he's not the best keeper in League Two. I'm not for a minute suggesting he is. He's been sorry.
Vigouroux
yeah, for me. Vigouroux every time. But Stone, since he's come back inside, has done really, really well for us. He's got a ricket in him, and he's not the best on crosses, but he has done really well for us. And you guys booted him out last year, didn't you?
I think what Clough didn't like about him was that his distribution is pretty horrific. He can't kick a ball to save his life.
If you want, kid, though, isn't he?
He's very young. I think he'll be decent when he's older. But you're right about his distribution. There's no.
Yeah, I think that's the point on the crossing and then the distribution. That was enough for Clough. And to be honest, I back him. I think if you've got to be competent as a goalie to be able, you've got to command your area, and he didn't do that for us. and it cost us on a few occasions. And if that's what you're playing like, then fair enough, off you go. If you're not going to perform, then. But let's think, this is the Mansfield curse. Players do quite good since they leave. I think Mal Benning's been a bit hit and miss since leaving. Harry Charsley's been a bit
Why did you sell Charsley to us?
Because we bought Longstaff in.
You'd already got. I know you got fair enough, but he was not worth a place in the squad because he's been really good for us. We're surprised.
The problem is the where he plays. Obviously in centre mid, you've got Stephen Quinn, Ollie Clark, George Maris.
Yeah.
He is not on the level of those three. And even the point is that John Joe O'Toole went in midfield and Ollie Clark, the club captain, still on the bench last week. Yes, he's been injured, but he's not got back into the side because Longstaff, Maris, Quinn, O'Toole, Akins, they've all performed. And when your club captain can't get back inside, you know that you've got some decent players.
Charsley would not be in our first choice midfield where they'll fit. But since he's come in, if we hadn't signed him, we would do him. We've got no fit midfielders. So he was a needs must type of signing. But he scored the winner against Salford. He's got a lot of energy about him, puts his foot in. He didn't play, he was dropped against Swindon. He came on just after half time. He's been. I take your point about you having better midfields. I agree with you, but he's been a good signing for us. And to sell him to someone who's pretty much one of your direct rivals, but you did get money. We did pay you cash for him, so you can understand it. But as for your point about Mal Benning, Benning's had a very stop-start season. He's playing really well now. The first half of the season, it was lethargic, he wasn't fit, but he's really come into his own, and he looks the player that we thought we'd signed now, and that's good for us and good for him.
Yeah, I'll say obviously we went with Stephen McLaughlin, who's been probably the best left back in the season in the league this season. The stats that he's put up is unreal, but we just had to choose between.
Look at Grant's face there when he said the best left back in the league. Oh, he's not happy.
It was screen.
Oh no, he's right back. Kane Wilson is right back.
And they play wing backs. Will Mansfield play 4-3-3 on Saturday? Because that's how you end up against it.
Probably 4-4-2 diamond. That's usually how we've set up.
Old school.
So going on to Saturday, and just before we do, actually, I want to just take a point here. Earlier this season, and I'm not bringing it up because it's Bradford, I'm saying earlier this season, we watched Bradford play Walsall, and in the space of 3 minutes, we saw the miss of the season and the save of the season. Until your second leg against Swindon. The absolute worst attempt at a goal I have ever seen from 18 inch off the line. How on earth does anybody miss from that far out? Granted, he scored a couple of minutes later.
He missed an easy one than that on the first day of the season.
Oh dear!
I shit you not. That was bad as that was. On the first day of the season at Northampton, he missed an easy one with that. And James Wilson is our best player. He is too good for League Two.
Do you know? I think it's interesting you mentioned about like James Wilson because obviously he came through the Manchester United academy. He had a couple of clubs that didn't work very well for him. Went to you guys. Am I right in thinking he came from Salford for you guys?
Yeah, Wilson. Wilson was brought up in the same town as me, just down the road. He's obviously up to go off to Wilmslow now because obviously he was at United when he was 6. He was going to be the next. He scored a couple on his debut.
Yeah,
did his cruciate, never the same player, and then he just got bounced out on loan and he never settled. Salford were paying him a fortune, but playing him on the left wing. He came to us as almost last chance saloon, really. And we were wondering what we were getting. He'd never played a full season anywhere. He was injury prone. He came here and Vale of Mai's doing really, really well. He is too good for a lot of our players. They're not on the same level as him. He's got 15 this season. He had 3 months out with injury. You can't be a bit careful because a lot of those games were COVID missed. But he's got velvet first touch. He can pick a pass. He's got an eye for goal. He is our threat on Saturday because he's got something that most clubs.
Don't mention how many goals he scored. Don't mention how many goals he scored.
He's just mentioned it, hasn't he?
Yeah, I said about 15.
15.
No, I think it's 14, I think.
Yeah, so let's touch on Saturday. Predictions, serious predictions now. What do you think the score is going to be? Do you think it's going to be won in normal time? Do you think we're going to extra time? Do you think there's penalties? What do you think is going to happen? I'll come to you first, Cam. What do you think? Head and heart. Let's have both.
To be honest, they're about the same. I think if Mansfield can perform like they did against Northampton over the 2 legs, I reckon we'll win 2-0.
Right.
Because attacking wise, we were just unreal against Northampton in the first leg. And then in the second leg, defensively, we were just even better. We kept a clean sheet away from home at Northampton, which is not many sides have done that this season, especially because of the type of players that they've got. So, 2-0 win for us.
2-0. Steve?
I think Vale will win. And I think we'll win 2-1. I think that the Swindon second leg was the blueprint of how we need to play against Mansfield. We need to start fast. We need to get at him. And we've got the players. Proctor, our other centre forward, is a really good player. He might not be fit. He didn't play against Swindon because he was injured. I fancy us. 2 weeks ago, I didn't fancy us at all. I didn't think we beat Swindon, if I'm honest. And I'm starting, when you're starting to think that it might just be your season with everything that's gone on. I'm not sentimental. I'm a really cynical bastard. But there's a bit of me that thinks, you know what? I think we're going to do it. And if it goes to penalties, I fancy Aidan Stone to save the penalty. There's a bit in it that's a bit of a storyline for us. But they are a good side, and we are very, very evenly matched. I don't think it's going to be one side football and another side of football.
Completely agree.
We're not predicting because everything we've predicted this season has been wrong. So we are not predicting.
Apart from 7-0 Bristol Rovers.
Apart from 7-0 Bristol Rovers, which was the most ludicrous thing that we've predicted all season.
You know, why did I go about it? Why the fuck? And do you know the thing is, the rest of the league was going, oh my God, they've won 7-0. I was like, because I went to... So, Cam, I went to Scunthorpe versus Mansfield where you won 4-0.
Oh, Scunthorpe!
Here we go again.
And to be honest with you, that game could have easily been 6 or 7, without a doubt. It really could have been.
We actually outnumbered Scunthorpe that game. We had more in the away end than they had in the home end. Brilliant.
You did.
I love a bit of crowd nonsense. I do.
But a lot of that was to do with the fact that they absolutely hate their owners. However, I'll leave it at that because they always whinge about me complaining about that kind of stuff. So I won't.
So we've touched on everything that we wanted to. We've touched on, guys. We're ending differently this week because this is technically the last podcast we've got where there's a game upcoming. We've got one more podcast next week, which is going to be a recap where we're hoping to get everyone on with that all season. So we're ending it different, and I'm going to let Chris, Chris, tell you why and what we're doing tonight.
Do you know, we're going to have a bit of fun. One of my favourite podcasts, they always do at the end of the season, they always do a quiz. And I thought, fuck it, I'm going to do it. So the way that I've worked this out, or we've worked it out, is who thinks such and such is going to win in the final. So, Chew, you are with Cam.
Mansfield! Whoop, whoop.
Grant, you are with Steve.
So,
please no cheating. Do not Google, otherwise that's just bullshit.
Mate, I can't Google. My internet's fucked.
We know this. So, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a question of 5 first. And it's going to
I'll edit this out, by the way, if we are dreadful.
Yeah.
If I lose this quiz, it's not making the final cut.
It absolutely is. So, the 2 teams, I'm going to ask you a question, and then I'm going to ask the next team a question. Okay? Simple as that. Okay, so let's go with you, Mansfield, first. Okay?
Come on,
I'm asking for the decade within 10 years. Okay? So
10 years either side, or like 90s, 80s.
I'll give you 10 years either side. I'll give you 10 years of either side. Are you ready?
Yes.
On this first question, okay. What year were Port Vale formed? 5, 4, no, 10,
Fucking hell.
9, 8, 7.
Yeah, 19. Should we go 1900s? Just 1900s, like the 00s.
Yeah.
We've got 10 either side then.
Yeah, we'll go 1900.
1900.
Yeah, we'll go 1900.
1900 is your answer. Actually, I'm going to give you a little bit longer. You'd be wrong. The answer
Obviously.
is 1876.
Oh, we didn't get no points.
Okay, same question to you boys. What year were Mansfield formed?
that's an interesting question.
Forest, the oldest side in the league.
Have they had the centenary? Have they had? They must have had the
Sheffield
centenary.
technically, but they're non-league. But yeah.
Yeah, Stoke have got some bizarre claim. but
Right,
they-
stop talking, Steve. Come on, you got time to think about this. Come on.
You'd start counting for us.
Okay,
You got any
I
ideas?
think 18 something.
say that again.
1885?
Yeah, let's go 1885.
1885. Oh, you're a year out, guys. You're a year out.
Fucking bullshit. This is bullshit.
I mean, if you really want,
1896.
if you want to throw a spanner in the works, we weren't Mansfield Town until 1910.
They would have still been wrong.
We will go by the quizmaster's answer.
Okay, second question to Chew and Cam. Okay. What is the capacity of Vale Park? I'm going to give you 1,000 so you can have it to 1,000.
Oh, it's about 19 and a half.
What are you going with?
It's massive. Vale Park's massive.
What are you going with?
Should we go 19?
We'll go 19. I'm sure it's about
1,000,
that.
by the way, Chris, not just 19.
Oh yeah, 19,000.
Yeah, I said within 1,000. That's fine. Okay, so the capacity. Now, I've looked a few times on different sites, and they've all given me different ones. However, it's been giving me 19,025, and you've got it 1 point.
25.
Oh wow!
It's a really bullshit way. I know that. So I'm going to a concert the week after at Port Vale. Not next week, week after.
Robbie,
I am as well.
Okay.
Win. I'm wearing my shirt to the Robbie concert.
Yeah.
Same
I've got
question.
to say my missus.
Same question to you two. So, what is Mansfield's attendance? What is their capacity?
Why wasn't I looking at these attendances when I was looking at like
No,
Stock
capacity
Ford last
of
week?
Mansfield within the 1,000. Within the 1,000.
Is it about 13k?
I was going to say 12 and a half. So
Yeah, so let's go 12 and a half.
I think it's about 11.
9,186. So you do not
Really?
get the point.
Wow.
We've
Okay.
got 3 stands, so
Yeah.
Next question goes to. In fact, let's mix it up a little bit. Let's go back with Grant and Steve.
Forest.
it's like these ABBA penalties that we used to have in Football League.
Who was the top goal scorer for Mansfield this season?
It's Oates.
yeah,
It's Oates, isn't
And
it?
I got a clue.
it's got to be up.
It is Oates because I'd looked at this before I came on. I was just looking at Mansfield. I think he scored
Yeah.
12 goals this season as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And to be
absolutely.
fair, this isn't cheating because I've got it written down on a piece of paper.
Listen, don't worry. You're absolutely right. It was research. Yes, absolutely was. So for you boys as well, top goal scorer for Port Vale was.
Oh, fucking hell.
James Wilson, wasn't it?
Are you sure?
Is it about 15?
About 15, maybe.
14, I think. Maybe.
Final answer.
Yes.
Yeah, James Wilson,
Yeah,
about
it was-
15ish. Yeah.
Of course, it was James Wilson. Next question.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks.
Bonus point. Okay. So you both going to have to work out this one. So, who has the most assists between the two players? Reece Oates and James Wilson. Who has the most assists? I'm going to come to you and
it's-
Cam first.
James
I'm-
Wilson.
Is it? I think it's going to be Oates, isn't it? Surely it's going to be. If he's only got 12 goals and you that far up, you went on that run. Surely he's been assisted.
Most of our assists came from McLaughlin. This
I'm
season.
going to. It's just open to both of us.
It's a bonus point. So
We're
it's
going Wilson then.
Yeah, James Wilson.
I would also agree with Wilson on the basis that Oates is a bit of a greedy bastard.
Yes.
Okay. So are you going to stick with that, or are you going to potentially?
Yeah, I'm happy to go with Willow.
With
Yeah.
Wilson as well. Have you both agreed, Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually Reece Oates.
I fucking knew it.
Reece Oates set up 6.
Really?
James Wilson set up 3.
Really?
Wow.
Knew it. Do you know?
So you fucked it. Anyway,
Edited it.
next question. 19th of October, Port Vale drew with Mansfield. You bastards. Who scored the goals for Mansfield? I'm going to do that to Port Vale first. So Team Port Vale. Who scored for Mansfield?
I can't remember.
Yes.
Genuinely can't tell.
I used to know. I knew this at the start. I can't remember.
We spoke about it about 20
Cool.
minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Can I have a bonus point if I tell you?
No, you absolutely can't.
Wait,
No, you
can I have the bonus
Was it
point?
Lapsley?
Absolutely not. No.
Is it who? Sorry.
Was it Lapsley?
Bugger.
Yes, it was Lapsley. Yes,
Yeah.
it was. Nicely done. And the question goes to the Mansfield
Conlon.
team.
From
Who
where?
scored the goal for Port Vale?
Tom Conlon.
Yes, it
Free
was.
kick. 33rd minute.
Okay, next question. Port Vale won 3-1 in the return game, but who scored Mansfield's goal? Again, that goes to the Port Vale team.
That was out.
It was Oates. You're
Yep.
absolutely right. Okay, so and then, who scored a brace?
Kean
for
Harrop.
Vale?
Oh, you bastard! I
Fuck,
didn't
it
know.
was as well. It was.
I
Yes,
like that.
yes, it was. What an
No,
answer.
I think he knew that
Big
would come
answer,
in.
that.
When you answered
He was-
asked him about the Mansfield goal, he knew that would come in, and he was like,
Yeah,
I know
he
this.
did, yeah.
I know this.
He's on loan from Huddersfield, and I until Christmas I worked for Huddersfield's women's team doing their media, and all their media staff are Huddersfield fans. So we were talking about everything Huddersfield, and they were like, "Oh, because this, that, and the other players you get to know, and this, that, yeah." So that's why I know that.
Oh, so you know the whole story about Matty Daly?
Who?
Yeah.
Who?
You can maybe give us some information afterwards.
Right, Dom
And how he stole a
Telford.
living.
Dom Telford was the top scorer with 25 goals this season. I'm going to ask Port Vale first. Team Port Vale. No, yes. Team Port Vale first. Who was in second?
I know this.
I think I know this.
Screen.
I know it. Oh, I know it. Please give him time and then give it. Pass
It's
it.
not.
Pass
I
it.
don't
The lad from Forest Green was his
I'm
name.
not passing it.
Pass it.
I
I'm not
know the
passing
answer, but I forgot. Could it be McCurdy now?
No.
It's not. It's the lad. I know he plays up front for Forest Green. He's
There's
got
two
injured.
strikers
Did
at
his
Forest
cruciate? Did his cruciate leg? Did his knee in it last game of the season? Didn't he?
I'm going to need an answer. I'm going to need an answer.
Time.
Port Vale.
Pass it.
Huh?
Pass it.
I need an
I
answer.
don't know. I
Port
can't
Vale.
remember his name. I don't know his name.
Right. Chew,
Matt.
what's the answer?
Jimmy O'Matt.
Matty Stevens.
It's
Matt
not
Stevens.
Matt Stevens, but you don't get a point. You don't get a
Ah.
point. Fuck you.
I'm so
Matt
happy I
first.
knew one. I'm so
Who
McCurdy's third,
was
isn't it?
number 3?
Oh.
Who was the third top goal scorer in the league?
Is that for us?
I knew it was one of the two
Yeah.
of them.
It's McCurdy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be McCurdy.
Yeah.
He's absolutely cheating. So yes, I still think he's cheating. Okay,
I know it's McCurdy because I watched the playoffs.
I'm loving
They
this.
said it.
Okay. So which 2 players had the most assists in the league? I'm going to go to Port Vale first. There's 2 players. You get a point for one of them.
Is it Jay from Exeter?
No. I will offer it to Mansfield.
Kane Wilson,
Oh, fullback.
Forest
Wilson.
Green right back.
Kane Wilson was, yes. And I tell you what, I will offer another point. In fact, I'll offer 2 points to who was joint assists with him. I don't think any of you are going to get it.
What's the number?
Don't cheat. Please don't cheat.
Look, Chris, I'll put my hand up. What's the number?
I think it's 13.
I know McLaughlin got 10.
It is 13.
Yeah, so did Jamil Matt for Forest. He got 10 as well. There was 10 there.
It's 13.
So it's whoever got
13 assists.
In fact, I'll offer it up to anyone. If anyone can work out. I tell you what, you won't get this. I don't think anyone will get this. And I'm quite surprised at this. It was Mitchell Pinnock of Northampton.
What's it?
Oh, that bloody long throw.
Taking free kicks to
2
throw.
seconds, you got phone charger.
Right.
Set pieces.
Next question is basically. Oh, he's off for a piss.
No, he's got to get his phone charger.
So the next question is going to be you're going to have to beep in. It's either Mansfield or Port Vale. Okay, that's what you have to answer with, and whoever does it first gets the chance to get the point. Okay, let's try. I'm trying to hold it out a little bit longer so that he can get his fucking phone charger because he's just an asshole and obviously doesn't realise how slow everything is. Right, are you ready? So, Grant, I was saying, if you shout out Port Vale or you shout out Mansfield and you get a chance. However, if you give me the wrong answer, the other team have time to debate over the answer. Okay? If you give me the wrong answer, you're fucked. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm impulsive, me. Fuck, I'm sorry.
What is the smallest capacity?
Port Vale.
The smallest ground
Port Vale.
in League Two?
Barrow.
Wrong.
Mansfield. Yeah, it's Sutton United.
Wrong.
It's the other one.
Mansfield.
I need to hear your name back. Mansfield.
Mansfield.
No, actually, I'm going to do it the other way. Port Vale, you got a chance.
Harrogate.
Yeah.
The answer is Harrogate.
Bugger.
The answer is Harrogate, and they have only got a capacity of. Oh, I've not got it. Doesn't matter.
Bloody been there. It's tiny.
Right.
Yeah, it's tiny. I've been there as well. Yeah.
So both of you are going to be able to answer this next question, but you need to think about it. So, with the capacity of all the grounds in League Two, what is if they were all full? What would the capacity be? So, I'm going to first, before we start talking, I'm going to give Mansfield the chance first. What would be the capacity if every single ground in League Two this past season? What would it be? I want the nearest 1,000.
Nearest 1,000.
Or the nearest to the nearest to the actual figure.
All right. Okay.
Oh shit! A brick.
Right. We can work. We can. How long we got?
You need to hurry up.
Right. I've got an idea. Right. Chris, I'm sorry I'm pissing your quiz here. Why doesn't Liam give a number? Why don't both people from each team give a number? Yeah, you take the average of it.
Let's go with that. Let's go with that. That sounds good, Grant. I'll go with that.
Right.
Okay. Liam.
I am going to say 195,000.
Oh, bollocks, that's
Okay.
what I was going to say. I was going to say exactly that.
Okay.
I wrote it down there.
Cam, what are we saying?
Oh, so I'm going to say 185,000, just so that our average is somewhere
In the middle.
in the middle.
Okay. All right. Grant, what are we saying?
Joe, mine is very, very close as well. I was going 192,000.
92.
All right.
92.
Steve, what are we saying?
I did the same. Basically, I did 23 teams. 10 grand a pop, 200 that he knocked off some of the really small grounds.
23 teams. What league have you been watching?
Yeah, but Scunthorpe hadn't turned up this year. That's what it is.
I need to get on for Bradford and us. I'll say 187. My original answer was 195, but I'll say 187.
Oh, that puts us at 189.5 and 190.
So who's 190?
Us.
Mansfield.
Okay, so if all the grounds are at their capacity, it'd be 250,000.
Wow.
Yeah, 250,000. I think it's 250,125.
It's Bristol Rovers, Bradford, and Port Vale that skew the numbers because their grounds are massive.
I was trying to work out on the bigger teams, like the ones with the big grounds.
I love how you're at an average of about 7,500, 8,000.
Yeah. I did have, just in case there was potentially a chance of a tiebreaker question. Unfortunately, fucking Mansfield. Well, I say unfortunately, Mansfield have won by an actual country mile. My last question was, who is going to win the playoffs? And I'm going to give it 5 points. So, Mansfield, who are going to win the playoffs final?
Mansfield.
Port Vale. Who's going to win the Port Vale?
Who's going to win the Port Vale?
Who's going to win the Port Vale?
Port Vale going to win. It's meant to be.
Right. Whoever wins the game on Saturday wins the quiz.
Come on.
Thanks for that, guys.
Brilliant.
A bit of fun towards the end.
Enjoyed that, Chris. That was
Brilliant.
great.
Yeah, congratulations. We were outclassed. Top job.
Fuck knows how.
a bit like Swindon were last Thursday night in Harry McCurdy. We were outclassed.
Yeah. So this is the first leg. So what you're saying is Wembley's the second leg.
Yeah, the big decider.
Yeah. The only one I knew was Matty Stevens, and I got no fucking points for it.
Yeah.
All I'd say, guys, is it's been a pleasure having you guys on, and whoever goes up, it's gonna be good for you guys, and you know both of your clubs are in good positions. You've got good people behind the scenes, and all the best for Saturday. I take it you're both there. Are you both there?
Yeah.
I'm doing co-commentary.
Oh, yeah. You see, they offered that to our podcast, and all the people on our podcast, we all knocked it back because we all wanted, to be with our friends and family. It's 100 quid a gig, isn't it? A free ticket.
Oh, that one. That's the Sky Bet thing. We're doing
Sky Bet one. We're not back. Sorry.
We're doing I'm doing co-commentary on all commercial radio stations, so actual proper commentary. But
nice.
We have to be at Wembley at 10:30 Saturday morning. Yeah,
not a bad place to be, though, is it? Let's be fair. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I'll be in Bradford. I'll be in Bradford at 10:30 on Saturday. Just pointing out.
How depressing.
Yes.
I'll be sitting waiting for a ferry because we get kicked out of this house at 10 o'clock and our ferry's not until 9:30 at night.
Oof.
Then I've got a 4-hour drive home from when the ferry gets over. So I won't get home till about 3-4 in the morning. So I'll be watching the game on my phone.
It's beautiful.
Brilliant.
Right, well, guys, we're going to wrap. Thank you very much for coming on. Cam, Steve, it's been a pleasure. I'm quite sad to see the end of the season come now. This is the last game that we're seeing us go into. But we will be back next season, won't we? And we've got next week's to go, which is going to be the wrap-up. If you're free next week, guys, we'd love to have you on. It's going to be weird to see how we get 10 people in this, but we'll make it work. Guys, thank you for coming on. We're going to do the usual now, which is Grant.
Hold on. Before we do that, can we just, also thank you very much. Ale to the Vale podcast as well. Make sure you follow those if you are a Port Vale fan. Mansfield Matters podcast as well. Appreciate all of you guys coming on and listening. If you were a fan of either of those clubs, or even if you're not, fancy a bit of a difference and listening to something different, make sure you listen to these podcasts. This is what we all do and we enjoy doing it. And I know that for instance, I'm going to be listening to their podcast, especially after Saturday. So
I listen to the Swindon one every week. The Swindon one. I'm a guest on it most weeks. It's the only place where I'm liked.
Have a listen, see what you think. Anyway, Grant, sorry.
Walk us out, Grant.
Walk us out as all. Guys, thank you very, very much once again for listening to us, as you always do. Thank you for everything that you've done for us this season. Listened in, helped us build up this community that we've got together. Everyone, come and join our Discord. We want everyone that listens to come on our Discord. Join us, have a chat. It's a good bunch that we've got on there, and you can easily get on and come on as a guest on here as well through the Discord channel. Some may disagree. Justice for Ben. Is it Justice for Ben? I'm sure it's Justice for Ben. He wants to come on. He was gutted he couldn't come on. Anyway, follow us.
We'll get him on next week.
Come and like us on our Twitter page, share it our Facebook page, share it out to all your friends, comment people in. We want people to come and listen to it if they would like it. Retweet this when it comes out. Give us a like on Twitter. Follow us on Spotify. Give us 5 out of 5 on Spotify. I hope you two guys give us 5 out of 5 on Spotify this week.
Yeah, definitely.
We are the only, can we just say, Grant, before you go, do you want to make the point? We are the only 5-star League 2 podcast on Spotify. Do you know why? Because we've got 3 reviews. 1, 2, 3.
And 3.
Yes.
Not a lie.
Also rated 5 stars on Apple Podcasts as well. 5 stars all round. It's great. Do you know what? Say what the fuck you like about us. We don't care. Call him a nonce.
Hang on. Wait, no, hold up. Right, no. I had to edit a non-stroke out earlier this season. Right? You made me edit a non-stroke out. I wanted to keep that in. Are we allowed to do non-strokes now?
I didn't say it was a joke.
Right, okay, well, I'm telling my non-stroke. So we were talking, guys, before we go, you can hear this now because I've got it clipped, but I'm going to tell you. We were talking about Dave Jones. Dave Jones, big fan.
Don't do it.
Managed Hartlepool, right? Dave Jones was accused of being a paedophile. He was accused of being...
Crew Alexandria. There you nonsense.
But he was found not guilty, right? He was found not guilty. And I said to Grant, was Hartlepool a mining town? And he said, yeah, it was coal. And I said, well, there you go then. He didn't touch kids, but he did screw some miners. And I tweeted that out!
Guys, we have been the lower league look.
This is the last ever episode. Cancel.
Guys, listen. I'm